Dates are available at atitesting.com. Register today. Seats fill quickly. Additional dates will be added for the fall. The TEAS exam is a requirement for both the nursing and radiation therapy program at Nassau Community College. If you're looking to refresh your skills before the TEAS, find out about review classes offered through the Continuing Education Department at Nassau Community College. For more information, you may call 516-572-7472 or visit ncc.edu.
This show is brought to you by Jersey Mike's Subs, with 2 locations in Uniondale and Carl Place, both within a 5-minute drive of Nassau Community College, and also available with Uber Eats. Jersey Mike's is a sub shop where every slice, every sandwich, and every store provides sustenance and substance. Produce is sliced daily in-house. Bread is baked daily in-house. And the 100% Angus beef roast beef is cooked in-store. Experience the sub difference at Jersey Mike's in Uniondale and Carl Place.
Okay. Yo.
Tell your friends about the Nassau Morning Madhouse. Hear what you're missing.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Has that ever happened to you? It's like, wow, everything happens for a reason. Amanda, I feel like that's happened to you a lot.
We were about to miss our plane. We got a flat tire, and this man comes out of nowhere. He's like, I can change the tire for you. I've got tools with me, and I've got a donut. And then we were able to get our plane, and he just came out of nowhere.
You only said yes because he had food. I'm guaranteeing you that. You only said yes because he had a donut. Right?
No, he didn't have any food. He just showed up.
Eric, that's the least manly thing I've ever heard.
What?
You don't know what a donut is for your car?
I misheard.
Yeah, like a donut is gonna fix the flat tire to get me to an airport.
You gotta understand, it is 7:13 in the morning. I'm hungry.
Nassau Morning Madhouse. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9. Yeah. On the voice of Nassau Community College.
90.3 WHPC.
Want more sports? We have more sports.
Let's get it.
Catch WHPC Sports Talk all week to get your sports fix.
Break it down.
Monday mornings at 9. Monday afternoons at 5. Tuesday afternoons at 5. Thursday nights at 9. And Friday afternoons at 3.
Come and get some of this.
WHPC Sports Talk. Exclusively on the voice of Nassau Community College. 90.3 WHPC.
Let's go.
60 different types of programming.
There's truly something for everyone. Right here. FM,
HD,
Amazon Echo,
Google Home,
The TuneIn Radio app,
the iHeartRadio app,
And nccradio.org.
The voice of Nassau Community College.
This is the award-winning 90.3 WHPC.
WHPC HD, Garden City.
on the air, everywhere.
All right, and we are everywhere. Not everywhere. We're in Malba, in Whitestone. Ray Guarino, Joe D. We're here at the Malba Car Show at the base of the Whitestone Bridge. And we were talking with Mr. Marty Schorr. We actually have a couple of other guests lined up.
Yeah, we have to find them. We have to go wipe them off, though.
I was just talking to Gary, the local brush, who's standing right behind you. Of course, the noted pinstriper.
Yeah.
And
we've got a few people who showed up today. We've got some hardy souls.
Absolutely.
There are cars out here. You can hear I don't know if you can hear the music in the background, but it's a regular car show. It's
right.
a little damper than usual, but don't let that stop you.
We are in hour 2 of our live broadcast, which is a first for us, Joe.
Yes. Oh, and, we've broken the barrier.
Yeah, it's not going to be a problem. We're not called Motor Mouths for nothing, you know. we didn't get this title just for for any other reason, but.
Where did you find that extension cord to go all the way from the station to here?
Well, we know some electrical guys, so we're able to do. We're well versed in splices and all that cool stuff. So you go over poles, you go around corners, you know how to do that.
Hopefully, you don't trip over it in the Cross Island too
much. It's like Ferris Bueller, go through the backyard, jump over the pool, grab a Twinkie, you know.
Yeah, that's it.
So it's all good.
And we have to thank Sean for running the board.
Yes, for putting this together for us, right? Because Troopered came out here in the rain, and he's sitting here right across from us, taking care of our.
He has proven his mettle as a top-notch supporter of Motormouth.
Right. He is a great PD. We appreciate having him with us. And you can call us at 516-572-7440. Check us on the web, motormouthradio.com. Follow us on Twitter, which is Motormouth Radio, or Joe's favorite Instagram, which is
Real Motormouth
No real underscore.
Yeah, I know.
Motor Mouth Radio.
I have a mental block.
I know you do. That's why we'll figure it out one of these days.
Well, they call me Blockhead sometimes.
But yeah, you can check out all the festivities and whatnot. We try to keep that stuff kind of current. Both of us, we really have our hands in things a lot where we don't have time and the ability to. We need to grow another arm to kind of use a camera.
Yeah, I've been trying the cloning process, but you really don't want to see what came out so far.
I know it doesn't always work so well.
I'd like a mini me to be able to run the camera and stuff. I'd like to do some repair videos and stuff because some of the war stories that you've come across some.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely come across some. You know what I mean? Like we started off yesterday before we started talking about. I actually had to come across a Sandy car.
Oh, how'd that work out? That's this many years later. That's kind of.
Yeah, well, it came back. Well, this thing was like a 2004 Infiniti, and the customer said, "Well, the fuel pump doesn't run." And after doing some checking and sitting there with a wiring diagram in the meter, I found that it's like, okay, it's somewhere under the back seat because that's where Nissan/Infiniti keeps their fuel pump. And sure enough, the wiring, somebody had either taped it or had done some type of repair to it, but the repair was not well sealed.
Okay.
And what happened is that all the copper turned to this lovely green color.
Oh, yeah.
Which was not very good for conducting electricity.
It's like a schming.
Yeah, schming.
When I was taking apart on the Monte Carlo, when I was taking apart connections to move harnesses so that I could get at stuff, as well as on that 69 Mach 1 from a few weeks ago, the same thing. A lot of green, that green oxide, and that's what happens with copper as it oxidizes.
Actually, I found that on YouTube. Some of the diagnostic guys that I follow on YouTube, like, say, South Main Auto Repair or Scandadana, they've actually named that stuff the Green Crusties.
Oh, the Green Crusties,
The Green Crusties. And when we found the Green Crusties, it was like, hey, wait a minute, this isn't going to conduct power, so...
I found it also when I was switching over the ignition wires between the wire terminals inside the cap, the distributor cap, which is a common place. We've all seen it there.
Oh, yes.
Lots of greenness, so...
yeah.
Well,
I found they get cooked or whatever. There's a little bit of what they call micro-arcing, too.
Yes.
Which does wonders for the smoothness of the terminal, the contact points, and so forth.
People come to know that in the electronics world on circuit boards because you actually get fretting.
Yeah.
Unlike now, we're not talking about the guitar world here.
I was going to say, what is it? What octave is it?
Yeah, we're not talking about guitar world. Where actually there's little fingers, little fingers of conductive material that jump from one land on a circuit board to the next. That's the fretting part, and that causes a jump in circuit flow, and which is we call a short.
Yeah.
If it gets bad enough, it's a short.
Poor contact. GM had a bulletin about that on fuel injectors years back, where they told you just take the thing off, just kind of wipe it down, put some dielectric grease, slam the thing back on, and voila. You really didn't have to change nothing.
Right.
I mean, a lot of times in troubleshooting, I'll just disconnect something, spray some cleaner in there, just kind of eyeball, give it a little kiss, put it back together.
Yeah.
Voila, car's fixed.
You preach that all the time, and I tell people as well, keep it simple, start with the easy things, take it apart, assess it, look at it, and like you said, clean it. There's a lot of good contact cleaners on the market, and you can...
CRC, Deoxit,
Deoxit, I like, it's a two-part. There's a cleaner and then a coating that kind of keeps future corrosion out.
Stable in 22.
Yeah.
That stuff's like $9 million a little bottle, but that stuff's great.
Right.
Fixed a couple Jeeps like that have funky instrument clusters.
But now, especially a car, like you said, that was a Sandy victim.
It was sandified, yes.
That stuff, salt water is the absolute worst. Fresh water is,
it's bad enough.
Let's put it this way. You flush a saltwater car with fresh water, and you feel lucky.
And a saltwater car, you just flush down the toilet. No, because this thing here, it didn't look bad at all. But once I started having to, go through the harnesses and whatnot, I started seeing that little watermark behind the trim. In other words, the stuff that they didn't take apart. Like the car to look at seemed very clean, but then once you started taking stuff out of the way to get at the various harnesses and connections, you could see that this thing spent some time, in submarine land there.
Right.
But so they're still out there, folks. So watch it.
Yeah, and especially people out of state need to watch out because those cars tend to get sold by the truck full out of state.
Exactly. So that way their titles get washed and so forth. So you want to try to find as much as you can about the history of the vehicle. I mean, whether it's Carfax or whatever the case may be. You want to see if it's a local car. Like I always love cars with pedigrees. You know what I mean? I will. People ask me about certain cars, And I'll say, like, where did he come from? Where was it a local person? My favorite is like, well, the woman, the old woman passed away, and now her son is selling the car because he doesn't want. That's the kind of stuff I always say. Rich people and dead people are the two best people to buy cars from. I was
going to say, Dougie seems to be the master of finding those vehicles.
Yeah, he's like unbelievable. It's incredible, that Nova that you heard.
Tell me about, you mentioned that it's got fuel issues, and I'm curious because when Doug called a couple of weeks ago, and he touched on that very lightly. It was like a touch and go, and I wanted to find out more about that. What was? Took
the car out for a bit of a danger drive. Actually, he did.
Right.
And it crapped out, and so I wasn't there at the garage at that particular point. So Johnny went and got him, got the car back. Car sat there for a couple of days, started up.
Okay.
Didn't run so hot, but it started up and ran. And at that point, we were, the carburetor bowl was empty.
Okay.
So we were like, okay, where's the fuel not coming from? So we were thinking fuel pump.
Right.
And then, this is where the history of the car becomes vague, because this car had passed through a couple owners on its way to Doug, and basically, I think the car was sitting for a while. So we might have some kind of schming or schmeng inside the fuel system that needs to be cleaned out.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one of our next things to do, is to actually get the car to act up.
Yeah.
And see where the fuel supply drops out, you know what I mean?
I got a call yesterday from our good friend Vic, who asked me about a Rochester 2GC, which is a standard.
I was going to say, we chatted about that a little bit. Yeah,
right.
How'd you make out with that now?
Well, what happened was the car, it's a tri-power setup now. I'm thinking Pontiac, but it ended up being on a 348 Chevy, which is really kind of cool.
Right.
And they just had the center carburetor working. The problem was the car ran okay, and when it would idle okay. But when they would hit the throttle, they would look and didn't see a good squirt of fuel come down into the Venturi.
Right.
But if the car was shut off and they actuated, so first thing I thought it was, accelerator pump.
Right.
When they shut the car off and worked the throttle, they had a great shot of fuel. I said, okay, that's kind of interesting. So we kind of talked it out a little bit. And I think what the problem is the fuel pump. Vic said they got a pump on there that's like good for 20 PSI.
Right.
Which on a carbureted car, we know, no, you want somewhere between 4 to 7.
4 to 7, yeah, is the typical specification, yeah.
My guess is that it's actually the too high of a pressure is blowing the needle off the seat.
Mm-hmm.
And the fuel isn't being directed where it needs to go. It's just dumping into the...
But why only the center carburetor?
Well... Okay, on a tri-power car, typically that's the way it's set up. You drive off the center carb, and the outer two carburetors are like the secondaries.
Right.
They're progressive. In this case, the owner has the outer two blocked off because he has them on there more for show than anything.
More show. Oh, okay.
So he's really just driving off the two-barrel.
Okay. So that way, that's the only one that bears the brunt of the fuel system festivities over there.
We did discuss options to put a fuel filter in the car and to put a fuel pressure regulator in the car, and he's going to follow up with that in future shows because this just happened yesterday. So we'll be in touch with Vic and we'll find out about that.
Yeah,
but
a nice clear, at least for diagnostic purposes, a nice clear gas filter.
Exactly.
At least at some point to see if the fuel's coming up.
Yeah.
If it's maybe like it looks like the head of your favorite brand of beer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or if it's a nice solid flow. You know that could be that could make the difference between how you're going to attack the problem for sure. But,
we do have a caller on the line. We have Jim. So let's see what's going on
Jim.
here. We'll go on the phones and say hi.
Hey guys, what's up? Hello.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Yeah, Jim, what's going on?
Hey guys, what's going on?
Well, we're sitting here in Whitestone just doing a show, sitting watching the rain and looking at the beauty of the bridge.
Okay, I have to correct you. Malba is not part of Whitestone. Malba is its own community. At least that's what the rent-a-cops used to say as they were throwing me out.
Well, I don't know. I defer to my co-host here who lived here, so that's what do I know?
Well, technically you're right, Jim, but you know what? I mean, somebody asked me where I'm from, and if I happen to be sitting there in, say, Whitestone Park or over here by the bridge, by the water there, I'm in Whitestone because But you're right. Technically, it is its own little kingdom there. Yeah.
Okay.
But
and
you're
technically,
right, Jim.
it's not Whitestone Park. It's Francis Lewis Park. Although we all called it Whitestone Park, and Whitestone Park is in Whitestone. As soon as you go that little bit west and go under the approach to the Whitestone Bridge, that's Malba, and that's where they're waiting for you to give you tickets and stuff.
Was it? Let's see. Was it because of the regular police?